happy 2019. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, from us here at the Yin and The Yang universe. I am, of course, your former two-time USW heavyweight champion, lifelong martial artist, and avid runner enthusiast extraordinary. I am Anthony Chu, a.k.a. Chuzilla, the ultimate thriller. All muscle, no filler, baby. And if you listen to the audio quality, this is provided, yes, by the More of the Same family of podcasts in association with Anti-USW Productions. I welcome you to the final episode of 2018's The Yin and The Yang. And folks, if you haven't listened to the audio, or you should be, if you're not, shame on you. I don't know how you would miss it. I am on the road. I am actually back in the home base of where I was born, back in the BK known as Brooklyn, New York. I am without my audio equipment. I'm here visiting the family, eating a ton of food, and just having a damn good time between Christmas to New Year's. Took some time off to recharge, get a little R&R in the system. And with me right now, as always, and I do apologize ahead of time for not having the audio equipment to introduce the man, because I would have given him Barney's theme song this week, is my... Let me see if I can finally do this fully. Let me just take a nice deep breath here. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the king, the guru, the owner of the More of the Same family of podcasts, the star, the third mystery member star of Monty and the Pharaoh. This guy is all over the place. He is the owner and the man himself, Mr. Larry. There is no shutdown on my network, Mormon.
We run 24/7, 365. Happy New Year, everyone. Closing out 2018. We're getting ready to ring in 2019. Mr. Chu, how are you?
I am doing phenomenal. I had a great Christmas. It was just an unbelievable time. I got to see a whole ton of family. When you get a whole bunch of Chinese people and food together, man, let me tell you, we didn't eat. We vultured what we had. If you see the pictures, Larry, of what was there was about 18 different dishes on one table. Then you had soup. Then you had like about 5 or 6 different desserts I didn't even take a picture of. My nieces made this cheesecake that was literally, it was New York-style cheesecake that was, I think, the healthiest ingredients I've ever had. They made it organic, too.
Really?
And it was just glorious in every single way. Between food, family, going to church, and seeing some folks I haven't seen in a while, meeting some of my old cohorts who are retired. It's just been a great 3 or 4 days so far right now, so I had a great Christmas and holiday. How about you, brother?
I had a good time. Santa, he swung by the mansion. He definitely had a good time. Here he has to bring like 2 or 3 sleighs to be able to drop everything off properly. But he did what he had to do. And
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You live on your own, don't you?
For the most part.
You don't have roommates besides the 3 dogs?
No, I don't.
I call them, by the way, I have a new nickname for the 3 Dobermans that you call, quote, unquote, security, and I use that word very loosely.
What?
You know what I call them now?
What?
The PBB boys.
What is that?
The Peanut Butter Bandit boys.
What is that? What are you...
If you want to get through the security, it's very simple. All you got to do is just give them a jar of peanut butter, and they're done with.
I thought you were hinting at something else. I gotta retrain them.
Okay. Just like how Huang was retrained to be one of Santa's reindeer.
Well, listen, only when you show, if Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has taught us anything, it's that, you are only useful once your disability kicks in.
Oh my God. Will you stop?
What? Who said what?
That is just mean.
I didn't say a thing.
That is just horribly mean.
I don't know
By the way, well, at least the kid has a job.
This is true. This is true. Oh, and also I'd like to go on record as saying, as much as it does not offend me, I am now sick and tired of Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh my God! Okay, you know what? I was listening now. I do, just to let you know, I do avidly listen to the Better Half. Okay.
Why? Thank you.
I will say this to you right now. Okay. For the Yin and the Yang universe, whether you're a commando, whether you're a militant, as long as you're a fan of this show, and even if you're not a fan of the show, tell your friends and let them some bitches tell their friends. Listen, this shit about this song, a song that was written in the 1940s, I listened to the Better Half, and I completely, utterly, 100% agree with many different things, okay, that you guys were talking about, that focus about this song. See, Frank, if you're listening to this, which I seriously doubt that you are because you don't listen to my shit, but Frank, we see eye to eye. Larry will never see eye to eye. But the point being is...
Because I'm taller than you.
Well, I mean, I agree with both of you. I mean, enough of this already. You know?
Mm-hmm. It's nuts.
It's utterly stupid.
It's nuts. It's stupid. It's... it's just now, it's just being played out at this point. All right, fine. You want to play it just to show that it's not offensive. But don't play it every 6th or 7th song.
Even the fucking nutbags in The View say that it's completely stupid to take a song that was written nearly over 70-something years ago.
Yep.
Okay? And basically make it a comparative to the modern day era. It just doesn't work. If you listen to a lot... Now, I'm a very avid music listener of, like, old, blues music that came from the 20s and 30s, jazz, big band jazz, like Cab Calloway, that type of era and stuff like that. Oh, there are so many of those songs that are sexually and drug-fueled innuendos.
Yeah.
That it's just the way that people were at the time. And it's exactly what Frank said. If you listen to the show, basically what the song is really about is that the guy, this is what it's about, folks, okay? The guy really likes his girl. It's just like in 2018, if any of you men had any class, you invite a lady to your home, you take care of her or whatever, you make her feel comfortable, and basically it's cold outside, and look, the guy wants to get some, okay?
He does. He's playing coy. They're both playing coy.
But he's not basically saying, baby, I want to bang. He's basically saying, look, stay with me for the night. Doesn't say what he's going to do, okay? But we can all kind of use our imaginations. And when she says no, he's explaining why he thinks that she shouldn't go. He's not forcing anything on her, you fucking morons. And at the same time, that one line, everybody's fixated on this line about what's in this drink. They're not roofies, you idiots. They didn't make... I don't even think roofies were around in the 1940s, were they?
I'm what? Look, just because I'm brought up on alleged charges of maybe slipping one of...
No, Larry, stop. Let's not make this about you now, okay?
Oh.
Because Lord knows, the county jail could be looking for you soon.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, you employed fucking... do you want to even call them illegals?
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, then. Let's
move on. All right.
Let's not talk about you, okay?
What?
I.e. Huang.
Hey, look, I have a wall outside my house that is You know what? Let's move on. Let's just continue. Baby, it's cold outside. Whatever. But at least we all had a good holiday.
I mean, look, the whole thing about this is, and let's just, I mean, am I wrong here when I said what I just said theoretically?
I don't think you're wrong.
Because, I mean, look, the way that these songs were constructed back then. Okay, so let me ask you guys and gals out there a question. If you're so offended for all these people who are sensitive and basically, want to complain or find something to complain about, because, and again, I agree with what Frank said. Frank basically said that there there are always these miserable people who are basically, they need something to complain about. They need something to be aggravated about. And if they don't have anything, they'll find something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you to dig a song that comes back from the 1940s and basically, again, comparatively try to analyze it in the modern day era, well, okay, so if you're going to be fixated on this, let me be fixated on what you call music, and I use that term very loosely in 2018. So you're telling me and calling women bitches and basically fucking hustling and pimping and killing people, that's okay. We can take like fucking certain metal songs and certain types of genres where self-mutilation's okay. Talking about being obsessed with death and basically harming other people is okay. How many country songs do you hear out there that are basically drug and sexually fused? Nobody says anything about that. But you're taking a song that has practically this innocent double entendre, and we have a problem with that?
It's, welcome to 20... Well, I was going to say welcome to 2018, but luckily that's about to go away. Hopefully a lot of this will change in 2019.
What the fuck are we going to be offended by next year? The Barney theme song? Are we going to find something offensive about that? Are we going to find something offensive about fucking Shining Time Station?
Well, Shining Time Station featured, a very dirty comedian.
Well, that is true. That is true. That I mean, look, a lot of people think Bob Saget's innocent, dad, from Full House. Have you ever listened to that guy stand up?
Oh my God, it is hysterical but raunchy.
Yes, that guy pushes the envelope, and then he pushes the envelope again.
Yep.
So I mean, please, folks, can we just get over it? It's a classic, award-winning song. Let's leave it at that. For the people who are offended, fuck you.
I like it.
Speaking of fuck yous, I just basically want to get into that. Get into that first topic that we have here. So, Larry, have you heard this thing about this wrestler in New Jersey? His high school wrestler who was actually forced to cut his hair.
I heard about this. I didn't go into detail about reading up on it, but yes, I did hear about it.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, when I was in high school, I belonged to an amateur wrestling club. It was not a team until I left, and then everything got better, which is like every school I go to. So, basically, when I attended James Madison High School in Brooklyn, New York, I am a Golden Knight. Yes, I am. And basically, we had an amateur wrestling club. And when I was there, we abided by the rules, just like if we were competing, but it was more of a club to learn the discipline as opposed to, wrestling and having matches with other schools.
Okay.
Where as opposed to like Midwood High School, which is my brother's alma mater, was actually a competitive high school who, by the way, most famously was assistant coached by Mr. Bob Backlund.
You mean the man who physically accosted you at Chiller Theater?
You can't tell me that was... Yes, sir. But you cannot tell me that was not legendary.
I will go to my grave. If I get full-on dementia, I will never forget that moment.
I, like Arnold Skolin, like the sound tech guy, like Bret Hart, and like a whole bunch of people, I survived being procured in the cross-faced chicken wing.
That you did. You lasted a while too, but no, you lasted.
I still have everything together, so it's okay. Anyway, point being is, in Buena, New Jersey, okay, Buena Regional High School, a wrestler was forced to cut his hair or forfeit the match to his opponent. Okay, so this young wrestler, varsity wrestler Andrew Johnson, who basically, he had dreadlocks. African American kid, he had dreadlocks, and he was told by this referee, Alan Maloney, all right, that he has to cut his hair because it was too long, and it could be a distraction, or it could, be an obstruction, or interfere with the match, or he has to forfeit. Okay, so right then and there, for him to compete, and now it was never explained whether this was a championship match or something, but he was told that if he doesn't cut his dreadlocks, he has to forfeit the match. Now, I went into the New Jersey, high school. I guess you can call them a regional association, like the council. And the rule, and this is clearly stated, the rule is that if an individual went onto their website, and I found out that if an individual has hair longer than allowed, it must be contained in a legal hair cover. Okay, that is attached to the ear guards. Okay. The thing that Rick Steiner wears. Yeah. The wrestler opting to wear a legal hair cover must wear it to the weigh-in procedure. Okay. Now, according to the family, this referee Maloney is basically, he missed the weigh-in, and the students had covering. The students' head covering was allowed in prior matches. So here's my so now they're saying that a lot of people are saying, well, this is a racist situation, that because the referee had used the N-word towards other referees.
Did he really? Wow, I didn't realize that the N-word was thrown around.
In previous matches towards his fellow judges.
Oh, actually,
man. And here's the thing, right? This is my question, okay? Number one, if you're a referee and you know that you're going to be reffing this match, why did you miss the weigh-ins? That's number one, okay?
Okay.
Number two, there are several people to blame here because, look, where the hell was the coach of this team? Why didn't the coach step on the mat and say, hey, listen, this was all verified. It was taken care of. Okay? And that, everything was checked. We went through the process. We went through the procedure. What's the problem here? Why did the coach defend the wrestler that was wrestling for him on the team?
Okay.
That's one of the questions. The second thing is, you have a governing council within that competition that should have stepped up and said, hey, listen, what's the holdup? What the fuck's going on here? Okay? If he went through the process, there should be a person in council who should have been alerted to get a second opinion to say, hey, listen, let this kid wrestle or not let this kid wrestle. Now, look, I'm bald, so I had hair at one time in my life. I don't know what that's like anymore. But to be very honest with you, it's like, I'm sure dreadlocks take a very long time to grow. Sometimes it could be cultural if you come from the Caribbean islands. Sometimes it could be, I don't know, something, okay? But my whole thing is, there's video of this kid getting his hair cut literally to to his neck length, and he's tearing up and he's emotional. So right then and there, you just hurt his psyche. You took him out of focus for the match. Because like any other discipline of combative sports, this kid is trained to be focused, and you're throwing this kid off his focus. Now it's like you basically, it's stupid because you're taking him off his psyche. And now, you've emotionally hurt this kid. And he's not focused on the match. He's focused on where the hell's my hair. And it's fucked up because, okay, you look at the women who fight in MMA, right?
Okay.
This kid does. Now, why aren't they cutting their hair? Why are they told to cut their hair?
No, agree. Ronda, every time, Ronda's in the ring now, she's always got it in always up. Rarely she has it in a ponytail. I know wrestling's a little different, but even in the MMA, when she was in the UFC, Ronda had it all done up. Heather Holm has it done up. Very rare do you see some of these women go in with very short hair because of that reason.
Right, exactly. And the same thing should apply. So once again, my question is, where the hell was the coach defending this kid? On top of that, where was the governing council or the governing body to step in and say, hey, listen, before you make an insane decision like this, what the fuck? Can we get somebody's approval here? I mean, I just don't understand why so many different people did not follow due process. And it scarred this kid. He couldn't even compete in his next match because of the overwhelming media attention that he's gotten because of it.
Yeah, I got a lot of media attention. That's nuts. For a high schooler?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, and Jordan Burroughs, who I think is a rising star in the amateur wrestling world, was condemning this, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What
are you going to do sometimes, unfortunately?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well.
So, listen, Andrew Johnson, if you are listening to this, we here, on behalf of the crew, we wish you well, my friend. Hey, regrow that hair, and definitely, we send our love and regards to you, and keep competing, my friend, because I've heard that you are an outstanding wrestler. So, from two former pros to a wrestler, we wish you the best, my friend. So,
good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. By the way, before we go into the next subject at hand, a little quiet in the studios, isn't it?
A little bit. You're on your own, but it is a little quiet.
I'm on my own, traveling on the road, but I don't hear Jeremiah back there. Where's Buddy? I think Buddy got eaten by your Dobermans.
I'm running a skeleton crew right now. It's the holidays.
Well, I mean, from last I heard that Jeremiah went back to California to visit his family. I mean, it's nice to see that. Now, let me ask you this. Now, don't be a prick about it, but does he get paid vacation?
I mean, paid vacation, time off.
Think that long to answer that question. That's really horrific. Even people at Starbucks get paid vacation.
Look, paid vacation is a privilege. You have to earn your right to paid vacation.
The kid gets fucking $15 an hour, which is minimum wage. You're worth goddamn $70.
Oh, hey, no. Hey, listen, the last person I paid on a vacation tried to sue me and ended up in the Caribbean.
Who the fuck would do that?
Exactly.
What a piece of shit that guy is.
You have no idea. He is a creep. He is a terrible human being. He cheats on his taxes. And one time I heard he took a Jiffy Lube bottle and a Munchkin box and a blonde little Doberman and then went behind the KFC and decided to do just terrible, horrible things to each other.
Larry, it's really not professional to describe yourself in that manner. Look, the people don't need to know what you do outside of this. I'm just trying to illustrate to the people what you do and how you treat your employees. That's all. I mean, listen. Oh, and by the way, needless to say, since the Dow went up, soared goddamn like fucking over 1,000 points, you should be worth at least about fucking 80 something.
Oh, hey, listen. Don't worry about the stocks. Don't worry about my earnings. It will handsomely be replenished back to the more of the same family of podcasts. So don't worry, big.
Should we also worry about what you did with that golden retriever?
Look, listen. If it can't be proven in court of law, I'd rather not talk about it here on the podcast.
You've got a real fixation, pal. I mean, I've been really worried about my childhood.
I feel like we need to move on.
Oh, do we? Oh, okay. All right. Well, speaking of fixation, that brings us to another perfect segue into another stupid thing. We've been saying all year that a theme of this show is that if you don't want people to think you're stupid, then what? Finish the sentence, Larry.
Then don't do stupid things.
Well, I was going to say don't do stupid shit, but okay, that's close enough. Larry,
Anthony?
stupidity has struck once again in the MMA world. You ready for this one?
What happened? What did John Jones do now?
This dumb bastard tests positive again. Larry, not only that, but listen to this one. UFC 232 moved from Las Vegas to Englewood, California because of him.
That's why it moved?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
What happened was that they took a random urine sample, and the sample collected led it to a quote unquote drug testing abnormality. And the Nevada State Athletic Commission rejected to give him a license to fight due to that. And then fucking the entire UFC went from Las Vegas, and they had to move it to California. They would issue him
wow.
Fight.
I was going to ask you why they were moving with a week's notice.
Yeah.
Well, because of him. I mean, is he that good of a fighter?
I mean, for a guy who only has one loss, and quite frankly, he should be basically stripped of the title. He should even be allowed. Let me ask you a question. If I punched you in the face every single day for an entire month, for 31
I feel like you do that on an audio basis.
I'm sorry?
Nothing, go on.
Do you really think that by the 32nd day, I wouldn't punch you in the face?
You know, if it walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, most likely it's a duck.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is a duck, yes.
What?
Exactly. So, is this one guy really that important to the company that Dana, I want to be Vince McMahon of MMA, White, actually would move his entire, pay-per-view card that was set in Vegas, their home base, by the way, to Englewood, California? And I mean, nothing against the people of Englewood, California, but I mean, of all the locations, they couldn't find San Francisco. They couldn't find any L.A.
What's the arena in Englewood?
Huh?
Like, what arena is in Englewood?
I don't know. I've never been there. I mean, and again, nothing against Englewood, California, but I'm just saying, of all the places that they could have went to, they had to go to California. I understand maybe the license laws were a little looser or whatever. The point I'm trying to make here is this one guy worth that much headache?
How many times has he been busted?
Shit, I can't even count anymore.
Like more than 3 times?
Has to be, because remember when he fought Cormier?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That he beat Cormier twice, or I think he tested positive twice or something.
At what point... Look... at what point does the attraction become too much for the company? Just because he's a good fighter, look, you gotta make a lesson out of him at some point.
Right. I mean, why is no one setting an example or making an example out of this guy? I just don't understand it.
And look, I'm not even gonna get into the argument whether or not pot should be legal, whatever. I'm not even talking about that part. Bottom line, it's a substance that's not allowed. You know that because you signed a contract with a company that you're working for that says you cannot use this substance, and you insist on using the substance. Anywhere else, you would have been fired a long time ago. Here at the More of the Same family of podcasts, I would have fired you on the spot. And I do random drug tests. By the way, Ant, if you see, there should be a little cup next to you. Your specimen is currently overdue.
Listen, I be very honest with you. I can't take it today.
Why is that?
I had a poppy seed bagel earlier this week.
Oh, and next time it is a urine sample. Thank you.
I'm in.
Ugh.
You mean I'm in or urine?
So John Jones is just, you know what? I'm going on record. I'm saying this. Larry Mormon is saying this. John Jones, you're a pain in the ass.
Wow. A former champ saying it to a former champ. Look, I mean, I just really don't see. I honest to God, like, can you imagine Vince McMahon doing this for somebody?
Not at all. No, he would. Well,
if a professional wrestling company, okay, wouldn't do it, if Scott Coker of Bellator MMA wouldn't do it, why is Dana White kowtowing to this guy? Like, what?
Wish I could tell you.
All learned that UFC has moved on past John Jones for over a year now.
Yeah.
Why does this still matter? I just don't understand.
I'm so over him, and it really to me puts a bad taste with the UFC with me.
Exactly. By the way, question for you.
Yes.
Are you in Brooklyn or are you back home?
I am in my palatial establishment. Well, to be fair, I do own property in all 50 states. So currently, and a lot of the major markets.
Larry, that's not my question. I don't need to know where you own property in the states. Listen, look, it's $70 million.
Oh, wow, wait, what?
No, I'm sorry. What I meant to say is $80 million.
What? Okay.
Is that
this is all inaccurate?
Larry, you're right. It's probably more than
Okay.
Now, simply based is I just wanted to ask. My parents were actually asking about you during the holidays, and was wondering how you were doing, and was wondering how come you didn't come into the house for free food.
Well, you know what they say: if it's free, it's for me.
Okay, well, whenever you come back to the home base, I know that Brooklyn has a lot of commoners for you, but come on, it's my parents cooking, so just let us know the next time you're in town.
So
you're in town.
So we walked all that just to get to that joke.
Yes, I did.
Folks, I promise you 2019, the humor will be a lot more highbrow than this.
You're in town.
Let's go to commercial.
Well, is the commercial about urine samples? Why don't we just go into our next topic? Listen, I was on the road. I recorded. I basically recorded Reclaiming You. So why don't we roll that? And by the way, Larry, thank you for wearing several hats this week since Jeremiah is actually in California visiting family, unpaid. All right, Christ's sake. Why don't you roll the footage here? Okay.
All right.
Alrighty then.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode and segment, our final one of 2018 of Reclaiming You. And I certainly want to talk about this one particular topic because it's going to be that time of year when New Year's Day rolls around and everybody and their mother and their father and everyone else is going to be in that one place that they haven't seen for at least 355 days out of the year, which is the gym. And it's really interesting to me because every year this time I avoid it completely because, your change does not happen in 10 days. Change does not happen in 30 days. It happens on a consistent level. And from the time that we started this in episode 41 all the way till now, recording episode 61, for the last 20 episodes, meaning somewhere around 5 months or so, a lot of you have made great strides. And I'm really glad that I can help. And I'm really glad that we can help here on the show. And, I want you all to just reflect on this year. And a lot of people, hear all the time saying, oh, I had a bad 2018 and there's nothing good that came out of it. And I just can't wait till next year. Well, here's a question for you. Why wait till next year? Why wait until next year when, you have the time now, and you have several days to start? Why not start now? Why wait until that day one that everybody thinks about? I mean, because when you really think about it, a lot of people, they join the gym and then all of a sudden they want to go for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even 4 if they push it, and then you'll never see them again. This is where these gyms just make their money, and they make their money off of you. A lot of people sign these contracts and they don't use them, So it's basically following this long, worn out trend. Every day that you wake up is your day one. You have the ability to change, and you have the ability to start, and you have the ability to make the best and maximize your time and maximize your potential. Don't go a day without understanding that you have the ability to change yourself. Even if you've made strides, even if you've changed your life completely, because you have to ask yourself something here. After you've met your goals, what happens a year from now? What happens 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, right? This is something that you have to think about. And to be very honest with yourself, you have to be honest with yourself, Just understand that one of the things that everybody needs to understand is that you have to be truthful with yourself and say, are my goals realistic? And if they're not, well, is there any way that I can make small strides, maybe instead of larger ones? And, if you're waiting to that day one, just understand that every competitor knows if they're not out there working hard, they're not out there, putting on their best, training, preparing, somebody else is. And you better pray that during competition, you don't meet that person that's out-trained you and outworked you. It's something that The Rock said when he went to visit the Los Angeles Lakers. And I was watching this film about him. He said, I love you guys, I respect you guys, but none of you are going to outwork me. That's the mentality you have to have. That's going to be, that concept in your mind that you have to get, is that you need to basically do your absolute best and beyond that. And keep pushing yourselves, because nobody's going to do it for you. You want something in this world, you got to work hard for it. Being given something does not show, how you've gotten there. Basically, being given something is just a person's easiest way. It's nice to be given things, don't get me wrong. But when you work hard for it, it's that much smoother. So what I want you to do to ring in the new year is, when you get a time, take a pad, take a piece of paper. What I want you to do is set yourself 3 goals you want to meet this year. 3 goals that you want to meet for 2019, and work hard towards it, and build upon that. If you can do that, that's your homework for the week, fans. I'm going to build my top 3, and I know exactly what I want. So I'm going to write it down. I don't think it, I ink it. And I'm just going to share that with you next week. We're going to build upon that from there. So why don't we do that? why don't we call it a session for this week? I wish you all a happy new year, and looking forward to giving you more Reclaiming You for 2019. So with that, I want to thank you so much. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any suggestions, please email us at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and see you next year. Okay. Well,
all right. I'm glad you were able to Dropbox that to me. I knew that meant a lot to you to get one more in this year.
Yeah, I mean, like, just being on the road, it's not the same with recording with my actual equipment. So I really appreciate, you guys hanging in there with the audio. I assure you that come next week, the audio is going to be back to crystal clear.
Let me ask
you the golden voice.
Let me ask you a question, because, you're on the road. I heard Hootie and the Blowfish may be on the road. Are you touring with Hootie?
You never know. I know their road crew. I will see them this summer at Madison Square Garden because I already bought my tickets.
And what day is that again?
August the 10th.
August 10th. You are aware we have a company retreat August 7th to the 12th. That is mandatory that you have to attend.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. So you know when my birthday is, right?
Yes.
Bullshit. You don't know when my birthday is.
So, August 6th.
Okay. Well, thank God for that.
What's mine?
At least remember one thing. March 30th?
You said it with a question. Mine was a statement.
March 30th.
You are correct.
Okay. No, I'm sorry if it sounded like a question. But here's the thing. In this retreat from the 7th to the 12th, do you plan on making it Anthony Chu Day?
Well, your birthday is the 6th. It's before the retreat.
Well, you're not celebrating it, are you?
That's not part of the retreat.
Let me ask you a question. No, yeah, but you are flying in, okay, from California on the 6th. So you can't celebrate my birthday to begin with anyway. So from between the 7th and the 12th, are you going to do anything for me?
I don't have anything planned right now.
Then fuck you. I'm not coming to the retreat. Kiss my ass.
What?
No, absolutely not. Listen, I only do the podcasting here. I work here. It's as simple as that. I am doing you a favor, okay?
You.
My golden voice week after week for 61 episodes. I have lent you my voice for over a year. You should be lucky that you have my services. I'm not being paid for any of this. I haven't seen 1 cent of revenue except for when I sued you.
What?
I'm sorry. Did I just say that? Oops. Well, anyway, all right, that's it. I had to pry the money out of you, Larry, for somebody who personally carries in his pocket nearly $4,000.
Whoa, yeah. All right.
So unless you make it Anthony Chu weekend, all right, not just a day, the weekend, I'm not attending.
I have Darius Rucker on speed dial.
Yeah, okay, fine, right. Anyhow, yeah, just like, did you have Kyrie Sane on speaker too?
All right.
Bring that up now.
I think it's time to reach into your sack.
Oh well, at least you want to reach into my sack willingly this week. That's good.
Well, it's I know it's full. It's because we didn't have it last week. It's over. It may be at its breaking point. So
listen, I got to release. Okay, it's got to be released this week.
Ugh. Why'd I feed into that?
Take it in your hands. Pull it out.
What?
Pull it out. Look at it. And disseminate it to the people.
I don't want to look at it.
Look at it, goddammit. That's what it's there for.
Okay. That's the second Beavis and Butthead comment I've heard today.
Personally, I call it the flying dragon.
Oh dear. All right, we got a few questions that we're gonna blow through here. So,
go through. I'm sorry. Are you referencing something to me?
So this is from Impact Sucks. Writes in.
What?
Not a fan of Impact. Guess they're not happy that they're moving again to another channel.
Oh my god, fucking Impact is shit.
So, Impact's not even around anymore, so it don't matter. Well, they are.
Listen, we didn't even know you and we already like you, because Impact does suck.
Is there...
If you wanted to come out of retirement, I'm sure they would even take you in Impact, okay?
I would not lower my standards.
Anyway, go ahead.
Is there a respectful and a respectful way to approve a martial artist for discussion? Is there a respect? I'm not sure how that question goes.
Okay, in other words, what this gentleman or lady is asking is there a respectful or a certain manner or decorum of how to approach a martial artist to talk?
I got you.
Okay. Question. Well, you got to understand that these people are not, most martial artists are not celebrities. They're not big name people unless you're meeting somebody like Ken Shamrock or something, or like if you're meeting like a celebrity, meaning like somebody who's well known in the fighting world, or somebody like if you met Master Wong, if you met who's an internet sensation, if you met like Jet Li or something, or I mean, then yes, I can understand. Obviously, like anybody else, you just walk up to them very respectfully, Mr. or Mrs. And you just show your respect, and basically ask them whatever you want to ask, but word it correctly, word it right. I mean, just like anybody else, you don't want to offend anyone. I think for most martial artists, they're everyday people, like me and Jeremiah and everybody else. I mean, like, and I didn't say you, Larry, because you're a self-made millionaire, so it's a little bit different.
Dare you?
And the thing about it is that they just want to be treated like everyday people. So I mean, obviously, you go up to them, I do a slight bow, maybe, shake their hand, whatever it may be, because they know that you're not part of that life. You're not a part of that martial arts circle or decorum. And each discipline has a different, either hand gesture or a different bow. So they know that you're not of that, or they don't want to assume. So if you obviously show the proper way, they should address you back that way.
Okay.
And you just speak normally, like you do to anybody else. That's all.
Cool. All right. Blazer Taylor writes, what is your opinion of the keto diet?
The keto diet. Okay. A lot of assumed names this week. That's really odd. I mean, are these like people from social media or something? I mean, like, what's with these names?
I don't know. I'm not sure. They're very, they're like from social media.
Oh, okay. Keto diet. Well, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it, so I can't comment. I mean, I know people who are on it who are trying to maintain weight, and I know some people who are trying to lose weight on it. It goes back to what DDP said.
Mm-hmm.
The word diet has the word die in it.
Yeah. I see what you're talking about.
And the other word that he used, is health, which is to heal, has the word heal in it. So I think that, it doesn't matter what you do, really. It's just a matter of maintaining it at a lifestyle, and really just not using it as a fad or a trend. I mean, right now, some people call the keto diet a trend. Now, I really don't know a whole lot about it, so I really can't comment. I mean, it's really up to the user, and everybody's body's differently, is built differently. So, you got to look at how your body reacts to it and listen to your body.
Yeah.
That's the best. Like I eat for the most part like paleo. The paleo diet is basically
Okay. I never heard of that one.
yeah, it's basically eating natural stuff, like not eating processed crap, you know?
Okay.
So, like I mean, fish, vegetables, meats is fine, but not like processed meats, like cold cuts of processed, that type of thing. Like really eating actual chicken or turkey or beef or pork or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and just a lot of vegetables, like little to no carbs, that type of thing. So, that's what I'm on, and hey, I'm still dropping weight right now on it.
Good. Good. That's what matters. And you know what? I have to. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have to make a change to myself and to my diet in 2019, or else I may not see 2020. So, I'm hoping that one of these diets, I hope I can get attached to one of them. I hope I can pick the right one for me. And, hearing your opinions on this definitely does mean a lot because you know what you're doing. You've done it. Hopefully I can get attached to one of these.
Well, man, like I said, man, like you had promised us that last year and this year, and I want to see you make it happen, bro, because, look, I want to record this for a long time. And you mean a lot to me, man. So I certainly would encourage you to really, really make some changes for the 19, man, because I mean, it's just good for your health. Let's just put it that way. When you get to where I am and beyond,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna really look at yourself like, holy crap! It's like night and day difference, man.
Yeah.
And I really think that you'll be very, very surprised at yourself.
All right. Well, we'll see. I can't make promises. I just hope for the best.
Well, if this is something you got to do, then you got to make a promise to yourself.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll be finding a new co-host for 2020.
Oh, man, come on. No, don't say that.
All right. So, Mala Johnson writes in, why...
Name.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Why are women afraid to lift weights or to do resistance training?
Okay, so that's a good question. For the ladies out there, there is a long-standing myth that women feel that if they lift weights, meaning heavy weights, it's going to gain them muscle, it's going to make them look massive, it's going to make them look unfeminine, it's going to make them look manly. I mean, I think that they say that for male or female,
mm-hmm.
it is a known fact that resistance training, meaning strength training,
mm-hmm.
is actually very good for you. Even if it's body weight exercises, like women can do sit-ups, push-ups, like, on their knees. Or I don't suggest women to do regular push-ups. Apparently there's something, I read somewhere, something like it does something bad to your cervical area.
Oh.
Yeah, like, if you can do just, body weight exercises to using light weights, meaning nothing more than 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Really good for you.
Okay.
And like cardio and weight training go hand in hand. Very important, because,
gotcha.
it's just, but women, I think that there's still that generalized misconception out there. And I think that's rapidly being broken down because
mm-hmm.
if you look at a lot of like the female talent in WWE,
yeah.
they all do strength training. They all, and they don't look manly at all.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even MMA fighters, like female MMA fighters, even female, athletes who compete in, like tennis or anything like that. Even they do strength training too.
Mm-hmm.
So, certainly.
All right. So, next question. Larry's son, 1998, writes, "Do you?" Wait, what?
I'm sorry. What was that name? Larry's son.
Wait, 1998.
Larry.
What? Wait. So
this
98.
Is a joke, right?
I would have been 18. I'm skipping that one. Next question.
You had a kid in 1998, so you have a 20-year-old kid
No,
somewhere?
no.
You had a kid at 18?
No, I did not. Why? I am more respectful.
Larry, I know who it's with too. I can take a nice.
Oh
guess
God,
who
no.
he's got with.
No. No, if I had a kid, if I had a son, trust me, they'd be a lot smarter than that.
Oh, I know it's that Greek.
All right, so I'm going to go to the next one here. Mike Fell. Oh, poor Mike. I hope he gets up.
Stop falling, Mike. Stop falling.
Uh,
Is he okay?
Mike Fell. Writes, oh, this one's for me. All right. This question's for me, so you will not chime in.
Okay.
I am an about listener of the network. I'm assuming avid. I guess the person who wrote this doesn't know how to spell. I've always wondered, why does your show or any show on the network not have any sponsors? It's none of your fucking business, Mike, all right?
Holy shit, Larry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, no, I'm sorry. The last screen name just got to me. I apologize.
Okay, well then don't take it on a poor Mr. Fowl.
I like to, you know what happens when you start getting sponsors, you have to answer to them. So I like all of my podcasters to answer to me. So that's why we keep it on the low end. Plus also if I get sponsors, I got to start paying people. You may hear some bumps before the show and after the show. This is just to keep the show, keep storage fees down and stuff like that. So, down the road, maybe you'll see sponsors, but, as long as the stock market's doing fine, this is going to be, owned outright, lock, stock, and barrel by yours truly.
And Mike, just to give you a good, clear-cut example of how his podcasters listen to him, just listen to this. Hey, Larry.
What?
Fuck you.
Who put in his fucking contract that iron clause? Fuck. All right. No.
Only kidding. Well, what the hell am I talking about?
You fired me twice already.
Just trying to bring a little humor to the show. That's all.
You have fired me twice. No Name Nomad writes, do you listen to any other shows? Do you listen to your own shows?
Is this for you or for me or for what?
I guess it's for both of us, but you can answer first.
Okay. Now, unlike the other people who record for your network, I actually listen to every show every week or every 2 weeks whenever it drops, as the kids say. I even listen to my own show because obviously I like to keep improving. I like to see, exactly if I stammer, if I stumble, or whatever the case, and I also listen to I listen to other shows too, because basically I just don't want to use the same joke on Larry most of the time every week. I listen to other network shows too, like Jim Cornette's podcast. I listen to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to something called The Successful Insider that talks about health, fitness, and motivation. So it inspires me. So yeah, I do listen to other shows. And then I can also figure out how to get into their network. Well,
what?
Larry,
what?
It's your.
You have a contract with me, you son of a bitch.
Is that any way to speak to your five-star superstar?
If you can't even say it, don't bother.
Okay.
I listen to all the shows. I constantly listen to all the shows because I like listening to myself. But outside of the network, some podcasts I do listen to. I listen to the Edge and Christian podcast that totally reeks of awesomeness. I listen to the Bill Burr Monday Morning podcast, which is very, very funny. And what else do I listen to? I'm trying, like, Mondays. Is that Chris Jericho's podcast, Stone Cold's podcast? So I listen to a few of them that are out there.
Is that all you listen to?
Basically. And then every now and again, I'll dip my toe into other shows.
You are really you are really I just caught you once again. Do you know that?
What are you talking about?
I am surprised that the first show out of your mouth that you did not even mention was Monty and the Pharaoh.
That's not necessarily a podcast. That's more of a video. That's more of a Facebook show.
Well, that's still. Yeah, okay. So then when the Better Half goes live, that's not a podcast now?
Well, we eventually release it as a podcast. They don't release it as a podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I don't listen to them either, but I mean, you were on their show, you invaded the show. I mean, you got to at least give them a shout out for God's sake.
No, well, I was going to do that near the end of the show, you son of a bitch.
What's with this son of a bitch thing this week?
I've been watching a lot of The Ranch on Netflix, and it's just very, very kind of cowboy, son of a bitch.
Oh, okay.
But I will mention it now, even though it's not a podcast. Monty and the Pharaoh, which you can catch them every Thursday from 8:05 to 9 p.m. on Village Connection Radio on Facebook. I've been on there a couple of times. Last week, I was they were kind enough to let me co-host, as Monty wasn't available. And myself and the Pharaoh had a good time talking about TLC. And they're good. It's a good show. Check them out. They have a lot of in-studio guests. They just announced coming up in January, they're going to have Marty Jannetty back in studio. So that should be a clusterfuck.
Oh.
And, it's a good time.
I see they announced two called Scorpio. I just may have to meet people.
Damn it. I was really hoping you wouldn't see that.
What do you mean? What are you trying to imply?
All right. So, at Jaws fan writes, this one's for you. Anthony, my 12-year-old son is out of control. He gets into fights and is doing bad in school. Instead of sending him to a reform school, I'm wondering if martial arts training would help. Can you help?
What the fuck is this? Have you been watching like The Perfect Weapon or something with Jeff Speakman? Because that's exactly is this a rib or something? Because this sounds exactly like fucking in the movie The Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman. This 12-year-old kid or this young kid has this anger issues, out of control, fighting or whatever, and his dad is advised by a family friend to send him to Kempo Karate. Is this a rib question?
No, I don't think so. Why?
If he's already fighting now, or if he's like out of control in that manner, the worry is that if you don't send him to a proper place, what begins to happen is that he's going to learn a skill where he's going to use that skill to fight. That's the biggest worry. I mean, if he's going out there and causing havoc, I think a lot of that, and look, I'm not trying to blame the parent. I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody, but I think that the young man needs a role model. And I've always felt that as if you're a parent, the role model begins with you.
Agreed.
I think because learning begins in the home. Now, again, I don't know if you're a single parent. I don't know if you're married, but the child, the root of what your child sees is from the house. And then you have to assess who he's hanging around with, maybe get him away from that.
Okay.
Refocusing him to other things, like making him, let's say, play, having him play some sports or something.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't work, maybe, if he's not a team sport person, maybe get him to an individual thing which is where martial arts comes in. And you got to really do your homework and research as to what's a good school. Look at their teens program. Look at their children's program. And so there's a lot of legwork. My friend, if you need any help, and this is not a rib question, if you do really need help with this, send me an email. And is that all the questions we have this week?
Say that. I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Is that all the questions we have this week?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. Your sack is now empty.
Oh, well, I'm glad I released. What's the showman's name?
For who?
The last person.
Oh, Jaws fan. I'm sorry, Jaws fan.
Jaws fan. Write to us. Write to me personally at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. give me some further detail because this concerns me. If you're within the area, meaning of New York, New Jersey, I wouldn't mind working with your kid. If you want me to help you out and give him some pointers or talk to him or whatever, maybe we can try to get him into a school. I can try to give you some recommends. Maybe I'll meet the young man myself, and speak to him, see what's in his mind, and try to help him out because, I have a soft spot for taking care of the young people out there, giving them the right focus and bringing them to the right direction in life. That's very important because I never got that growing up. So, fans, write to me. So, fans, if you have any questions, email us at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. So, Larry, we have no more tour obligations for 2018. We're ready to ring in the new year. And, New Year's Day, I got to work. I'm sorry, excuse me. I got to be in the grind 17 hours anyway. So I'm not going to even ring in the new year the right way. I can't watch the Twilight Zone marathon, which sucks.
It's all right. You make it, you do what you got to do. Listen, sometimes we got to do what we got to do. We are here for a lot of New Year's Eves. There's going to be a ton ahead of us. There's a ton behind us. So don't you worry, brother. You're always going to be in our hearts, our minds, our souls, in the cockles of our hearts. So even though you may not be able to celebrate New Year's properly, at least you will be in the new year.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. What's going on in your network of shows this week?
What is happening this week? Well, we have, coming up next week, I should say, Anthony Rippo of the Retro Gamers Podcast is in town, and we will be at Game On, finally, together, and we will conclude our Virtual Boy contest. We will see who won the Virtual Boy. And if Anthony won it, he will be destroying it live on Facebook. So we'll see what happens. And with the Better Half podcast, if you check out the most recent episode, it was our holiday edition, our very special episode where me, Frank, and our special guest, Anthony Rippo from the Retro Gamers Podcast, talked about the Saved by the Bell episode, Jesse's Song, where Jesse was addicted to caffeine pills. And we dissect it and pretty much tell the world about this wonderful episode. And we also briefly mention and we prove why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So tune into that.
Now, wait a minute. You guys have him on from California when he comes in. You fly him out here personally, first class. You don't get me on the show. What the hell's that all about? And I'm about 75 miles away.
You didn't get the tickets in the mail? The flight tickets?
The hell would I need to fly for? I'm 75 miles away from you.
Look, if I'm going to bring someone in, I bring them in style.
You didn't bring me in style anywhere.
Well, there's more time. We got a lot of time ahead of us.
Oh, great. More empty promises. Thank you very much. You know what? For the rest of 2018, your network does need a shutdown. How's that?
Hey, listen, I have no problem with you guys working for me without pay.
With the way you're paying us now, we can't even afford food.
All right, let's wrap up 2018, shall we?
All right, let's just leave this bickery, and Larry will find new ways to annoy me and make me apply more blood pressure pills in my system for 2019. So fans,
well, if you crush them up and you snort them, no, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So see, I can't. You fucked me up now. I can't even address the people correctly to finish off 2018. Fans, on behalf of the entire staff here, including Jeremiah, who's now in California going to visit his family and all that, on behalf of Buddy, Thaddeus, Theodore, a whole bunch of people that we don't even know. Larry's three Dobermans, Larry, Curly, and Mo. Yeah, and everybody else, thank you very much, everybody, for making this an amazing 2018. We really appreciate your love and support for giving us one hell of a time this year. I loved every second of recording. I'm looking to 2019. I'm going to live, as the kids say, my best life. We're going to live our best life for 2019. There's going to be a lot of great changes. We promise you that in 2019 we're going to fulfill a lot of promises for the show, for the network, and just look forward to it because it's going to be amazing. So, Larry, you got any closeout thoughts besides counting your fucking money?
Be happy. Be merry. Good luck in 2019. Remember, whatever happened in 2018, that's now behind you. 2019 is a fresh start. And tune in to New Year's Rockin' Eve because you never know how bad Mariah Carey's going to melt down on live television.
Okay. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Happy 2019. See you next year. Tally-ho!
You're the best around.